Hello, D-Rock here. Welcome to the channel. While recovering from the flu over 6 months ago, I had a day to spend searching a mountain range in the lower desert using Google Earth. I was looking for the remnants of prehistoric agave roasting pits. Generally speaking, sometimes other ruins will be associated with these pits, as well as the possibility of finding artifacts. The biggest problem is once you're on the ground, some of these places can be difficult to get to and distances can be long. There's an appropriate window regarding weather as well. One must take into consideration everything that entails backcountry travel in the remote low desert. Anyway, as I endured the sickness and spent the day searching the mountain range, I was able to find almost 40 prehistoric pits. Every single drainage seemed to have at least one pit in it. Some drainages had multiple pits, and there are probably more pits than that. They are simply hidden due to being overgrown. Beyond fascinating. Please join me as I head out into the desert to discover what once was. Cave. Well, without a doubt, we have got a fire-blackened cave. So that's one of what I presume probably are very many caves out in this area. Yeah, it's ceilings in here is definitely plenty of fires. And when you come to the entrance here, you can see where there might have been a wall of some sort long ago, but it's just crumbled now. So all along these limestone ridges where I'm at, I mean, when I was driving in, I was watching for caves and I just saw caves everywhere, multiple caves. So something to definitely check out later. There's going to be plenty of them in here. And there's another small cave right up here. I'm not going to go up there though. I'm going to kind of stay task oriented and continue on to the pit. All right, I am finally back in the lower desert. I am below 2,000 feet of elevation. I haven't been out here in half a year. Actually, more like 7 months, to be honest with you. I just don't come out here when it gets hot anymore. It's just not worth it. But I now have probably a 5-month window to explore out in the low desert for once again the temperatures get to be too much. It's pretty chilly right now, probably mid 40s, which is perfect. That means as we walk this morning, then chances of us running into a rattlesnake are pretty low. So I'm walking a nice little ATV track right now, which is great. I mean, there's roads all through the area, and all through this geographic area, mining was really big. Turn of the century, so on and so forth. But there's also a lot of prehistoric stuff out here that rarely gets seen. And as I mentioned in the introduction of this video, in this particular area, I've located probably over 40 pits. No doubt there are agave roasting pits, but sometimes there's other ruins associated with it. So today
We're going to go out to what I've called pit number 2. And the route I've kind of mapped, I'm going to follow some drainages to get out there. And it's looking like truck to truck, maybe 3.5 miles round trip. So it's not a bad walk. The terrain looks pretty easy. So, man, yeah, there's a big cave there. There's a big cave up there. This whole limestone formation here is covered in caves. So I might have to come back and do a separate video just investigating all those. I mean, it's a time suck to crawl up and down and do that. We gotta stay focused on this one. Anyway, so a little over 1.5 miles to where I believe pit, for lack of a better term, number 2 is located. Okay, here's the first drainage I'm going to navigate. Like I said, I'm going to be taking multiple drainages to get to this spot. And it's always one thing to be studying this from above, say on Google Earth, and mapping out on the topo. And then when you're actually boots on the ground. So my route looks like it's pretty easy. If I stick to the drainages, I'm not going to be having to do a lot of up and down, I hope, but I could be wrong. So we'll see. Well, the walking's not bad. It's gradually gaining some slight elevation, but no big deal. And following the drainages is definitely the path of least resistance, I would say. Here's my next drainage. I'll be following this up. Okay, the pit is somewhere over here. I'm not seeing it. I think it might be somewhere over here. This is the big drainage here coming down. All right, so we're just gonna have to walk around. Found it, right there. Oh. Yeah, here we go. Oh, wow. See, this is like a nice level spot here. There might have been dwellings around this, I don't know, but you can see the this is kind of what I look for, is these white rocks here. This is the cracked limestone. It turns this color when it's been heated. This is an old one. There's not even, like, there's no charcoal visible. So, wow, this is fascinating. It's big too. Oh, look at that. Right on, we found it. So stoked. So, these are the ancestral lands of the Southern Paiute. However, if you want to go farther than that, we are still within the western boundaries of the ancestral Puebloan. So, who's to say who created these pits, but it's fascinating nonetheless. So, this is all dug out and built, and you know, they would put the agave in here and cover it and cook it for 12, 24 hours, full day to night, and then come back and dig it out and consume it. The Pima have a video of them actually doing an agave roast in a traditional way, and it's just absolutely fascinating. Now, I think this is the only pit in this general area, but sometimes, a lot of times there's more than one. The way I'm thinking about it from my previous experience in finding these is that, you know, the pits would move because it took a lot of resources to fill this thing up and do the cook. So once the resources were kind of used up in the general area, then another pit would be created at some other distance. And sometimes these are actually fairly close. Anyway, that's what I've noticed, and that's just my own speculation. This is a pretty big pit. I've seen larger, but this one's about, I walked it about 8 feet. Yeah, it's just fascinating. All right, so I'm gonna take a minute and kind of slowly walk around the area a bit and see if we don't come across any lithic debris or anything of that nature, but I think we should definitely go up and have a look. Well, this is an interesting spot for the pit. There is no agave in the immediate area. I'm not even seeing any like banana yucca, just Joshua trees. Now there's some limestone outcroppings right up in the distance. I might walk up there, but there may be some agave around that, but boy, there's nothing right here. All right, so we're looking at the pit right here, but I think we're just gonna walk over to this limestone outcropping up here just to see if there's any agave, because there's nothing right here. Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, well, I didn't have to go far. Here's the agave. Appears it prefers this terrain better to grow in. There's another one right up here. So not only would they have been able to get their rocks out of this big wash, but they would have been able to get their agave too. There ain't much of it though. All right, well, I've crawled up to get a view, and I'm not seeing any other pits in this big drainage. So my pit's right over there, or pit number 2 we were just at. I'm not seeing any more right here. I didn't notice any more either when I was looking on Google Earth. So I think we might walk up to this outcropping here just for one final look and then start making our way back. Yeah, I figured. So I'm starting to run into more agave here. There's some there, there's some there. As we get around, I can see it growing all along this limestone outcropping. So it's making sense why that pit's there. They would have harvested, there's probably agave all over. I mean, yeah, there's agave all over these limestone outcroppings. It seems to prefer this type of habitat. And there's larger bushes of agave down near the pit in the middle of that drainage. So it all makes sense where the pits are, where the agave is. I can see agave growing all in there. I might walk this next wash back down out of here. Might run into something there. Probably need to look on this other side too. Could be a cave in there. You just never know. Huh, well, all right. There is, however, like I mentioned, more agaves right there. Ooh, that's steep and loose. I don't want to fall again. Yeah. Oh, there's agave growing all up in this. Yeah, I think I'm going to walk this back down and around. We'll see if we come across anything. There might be a smaller pit in there. You never know. So I'm seeing quite a bit more agave along this maybe northeast facing part of the ridge versus the other side. There's some on the other side, but there seems to be quite a bit more on this side. So it seems to prefer over here, though it's growing intermittently kind of everywhere and then down into the washes. So I guess there's plenty of it around. There just wasn't much in the immediate vicinity of the pit. And I haven't come across any lithic material, but it's kind of hard to find. It's so rocky here, so it's kind of hard to distinguish. But I was hoping maybe we'd come across another pit on this other wash, but I don't know. This drainage is pretty bumpy. I don't think I'm gonna come across anything. Just as I thought I wouldn't find anything else, I just found a massive pit. Look at this thing. It is undoubtedly a pit. Look at it. Tucked right in the side here. It is huge. Whoa. God, I couldn't even see this thing. Oh. Look at how high it's built up. Oh, and this is definitely, look at this. You can still see, I'm like sinking down into the center here. Whoa, this is amazing. This is a huge pit. It looks like it's part of the stinking side here. Whoa, look at how big this is. We got to go up in the air and look at this. Oh, I knew there'd be one in this drainage. Well, I didn't know there was one. I just had a feeling. Look how high the wall of the pit is. Oh man, this is incredible. Wow. Huh. They made do with this little section and just built it up. This would have taken a minute to build. It is huge. Just that, look at this. Wow, okay, man, this is incredible. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. This is a huge pit, just in the size. It is enormous. Wow, how incredible. I totally wasn't expecting to find one in here, but man, they built it right in the side of this wash right here, this drainage. Clever, clever. That took a minute to build something like that. Anyway, yeah, I'm pretty impressed right now. It's pretty overgrown in this area, so I'm not really seeing anything as far as any lithic material. But once again, I'm not really scouring the ground either. I'm just kind of walking around this massive pit. Wow, that's awesome. Well, we're gonna start making our way further down this drainage, and who knows, maybe we'll come across something else. Sweet. All right, back to the truck, uneventful walk back. It was a fascinating day exploring out here in the lower desert. Not only did we find one pit, but multiple pits, 2 pits. And the second pit was just absolutely incredible. It was huge. Yeah, it's fascinating. So I'll have to come back in this area and continue searching and finding more of these and hopefully other things. It's absolutely incredible. So that being said, thank you very much for watching. I've got lots more content on the way. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. It helps the channel tremendously and it's free. So folks, we'll see you next time. D-Rock out. Adios.